but it's an extension of faith. So what is Shraddha? Again, there is no English word that is equivalent to it. You say devotion, is that what you said? Deep involvement, dedication. Shraddha is dedication, devotion. In fact, you need to bring in all we have to give it a wholesome understanding. So it starts with a basic faith. So what brings people back to this classroom is there's a basic faith in the scripture and a certain amount of faith in the teacher that he is doing justice to the text. You can't come back. If you come back next time, first time you had faith in her, thereafter it is a faith, your faith in the teacher that he is doing justice will bring you back to the classroom. But if you don't come back, I am not going to misunderstand you, don't worry. But some of them have been following me, she has been more than 20 years with me. There is a certain amount of, not, in fact you start your journey with faith, but what after faith, what does it become? My name is sir?
It becomes devotion. Yes. You have faith and then you are devoted to that cause, the way the person is expounding it, the kind of devotion is that he brings to it, that slowly gets manifest.
Certainly, certainly. So what starts with faith, as he rightly said, it becomes devotion, it becomes a conviction. I am convinced. It doesn't need any more evidences for me to pursue or hold on to the journey, isn't it? It's when there is a faith, there is an element of doubt, but still go by it. But once you have experienced it, there is conviction. So faith, or sorry, Shraddha is a capacity to, with reference to this knowledge or this sadhana or with this pursuit, how would you apply Shraddha? Because here we are talking about, he is saying I am giving this truth to you because you don't cavil and you have Shraddha. Now I am very certain that none of you will cavil, because that is the prerequisite to come back or be here. But if you do that, it's your loss. And I said none of you are in the category, I am assured, more than assured. But I do not know how many of you have Shraddha. That I will put a big question mark on every one of you. I do not know whether you have that Shraddha in you. Cavilling, no doubt. So you need to be of a different level if you want to have Shraddha, a different level. And what is that Shraddha? Shraddha is that capacity, not just see, to receive knowledge, cavilling is enough. You are devoted, that's enough. If you are devoted to the subject and the teacher, that is good enough to receive the knowledge. You don't need anything more than that. Devoted. Yeah. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam, then you get the knowledge, but you get to the very end in that sense. But then what is that Shraddha? So, a Shraddha is that which takes you to your goal, takes you to the very end. But just put it in the right words, Shraddha is that capacity to receive in the knowledge, understand what it is, to assimilate the knowledge, reflect on it, digest it, live it and experience it. So it is the capacity to receive the knowledge, understand it, reflect on it, assimilate it, digest it, live it, experience it until you become it, until you realize it, which is the very end of it. That is Shraddha. So you would not give it up until I have made it my own. I will not leave it midway. There's a beautiful saying. We can be knowledgeable with others' knowledge, but we cannot be wise with others' wisdom. You can be very knowledgeable with their knowledge, but you can't become wise with their wisdom. If it was that easy, then you will find a society is inundated with wise people, because there is so much knowledge floating out there. You want any knowledge, open your WhatsApp, inundated with knowledge and wisdom and advice. The moment you begin your day, you are inundated with all the wise counsel, unasked for, keep pounding onto you. Just keep forwarding and keeps pounding onto you. Yeah, it makes sense, very lovely message, beautifully said, well done, but then I am the same what I am, where I am, no change at all. If only I can become wise with their wisdom, so beautiful it would have been. But you can only be knowledgeable with others' knowledge, but you can't be wise with their wisdom. Why? Because of lack of Shraddha. You want to become wise, it is this quality that will differentiate you from chalk and cheese. You're all spiritual seekers, but if you want to stand out, and if any one of you have it in you, you stand out, and a guru can easily pick it up as a bull in a china shop. You stand out. One quality that stands out a student amongst the rest is this quality. And if there is another quality I would want to mention is Vairagyam. A student has Shraddha and Vairagyam, he stands out. Vairagyam is dispassion, the ability to let things be as they are, just never mind. He is not fascinated, unduly fascinated by whatever is thrown at him. It's okay, chalo yaar, chalta hai, I can do without it, that kind of an attitude.
But it's definitely not a chalta hai.
Chalta hai without it. That's why life can go on without it, no big deal. As I think it's, I don't know, it's Bernard Shaw, I don't know who said that. He said, whenever I passed by a shop, those days there were no malls, those days. So he said, whenever I passed by a shop, I wonder at the number of things a man can do without. I wonder at the number of things a man can do without. He'll go to the mad. What is that? As Wordsworth says, in thee I see the sin and madness of mankind. He would say that. As Wordsworth says, in thee I see the sin and madness of mankind. Where, to what level has humanity deteriorated is an alarming state. Alarming emergency. When I say this, there's a specific mall in Malaysia where we used to live a stone's throw, maybe a 5-minute drive, 10-minute drive at max. There's a place called Mid Valley. It's almost like our weekly shopping hub. Anything and everything you want, as you know, in any modern mall, you get everything. Hundreds of stores and everything beautifully displayed. And on the second floor at the South Court, I remember very well. It has South Court, Center Court, North Court. That's how the mall was laid out. Second floor, South Court, there was a specific shop I used to go just to see if I can pick up anything, then shop. And that shop used to be so busy, and I used to scratch my head, man, what are all these things people are running behind? I used to have the same feeling within myself. I wouldn't mind picking up anything which could have been used to me, not just simply acquiring, but anything that sometimes you go to a stationery shop and you find a magnetic clip. There's a shop, a Japanese store called Daiso, and every time it's a point where we end up going, and you find small things which really help you in your work, in your stationery, in your travel, in your work convenience, organizing things, and it helps. So we don't mind picking up things, but this is one store you find all odd things, and whether be it decorative items or whatever, because I have a very, I wouldn't say fine, but an acute aesthetic taste to things. I have an appreciation for things. If I like something which is aesthetic and nice and it has a place in your life, pick it up for what it's worth. It helps you with your life. But I used to go and find, it's a total waste, that whole shop, and everybody used to go and buy it. Just what is in that shop, let me go and find out. And I always remember what the saying is, life can be a wonder, the number of things life can do without. I can carry on my life without it. You see? Now why am I saying this? The two qualities that stand out in a student is Shraddha and Vairagya. What is the Vaishnavi? Some complain? Speak out loud. You want to go. She's my daughter, so she says, we'll go to the shop. Yeah, next time when whenever these ladies used to go shopping, I had time, so I used to just roam around. I remember going to that shop a few times. You don't remember coming to that shop? Never taking Vijaya? No, not Daiso. It's not Daiso. It's the other side of the mall. Never mind. Next time Jaraman and Kachinaba, I'll take you, ma. Huh?
My friends from other cities and relatives are wondering how I didn't go and see IKEA.
I'm not going.
You are in Hyderabad, the only store in the country you've not visited. I said I don't need anything. Why
Correct.
In fact, I see the full page advertisement. I don't see even one item that.
Just flip the page. Absolutely.
People go in.
the positive. No. Organizing how. All those things are.
Yeah.
You can live without that. There are 10 top products in US. You can live without all 10 of them. Pepsi, Coke, then iPad. There are 10 of them.
I'm counting.
Pizza.
Moonda சொன்னீங்க போக pizza, McDonald's, வேற என்ன?
One more
Burger King,
burger, and then that chicken.
Nuggets, KFC, okay.
KFC, all top 10. You can live without.
Balance 3 என்னது?
Just not.
அனுப்பிடுங்க. அந்த knowledge அனுப்பிடுங்க WhatsAppல.
See how people are. We don't need all the 10. Then number one Pepsi.
So the two young boys behind are staring at you. What are they talking? Don't worry, they are all old people. We are all same age. The list is little short in our life, correct? So the quality that takes you to right up to realization, like the Parliament Street is not the Parliament. Shraddha is not realization, it takes right up to realization. It takes you up to the verge of realization, but it doesn't give you realization. But you need to be on the right street to get to the Parliament. Parliament Street is not the Parliament. Shraddha is that one standout quality that will take you progressively to your goal. You are on the wrong street, you will never go anywhere near Parliament, you will go round and round. The Parliament perhaps, but you will never get to that place. So all of the qualities are redundant, all of the spiritual embellishments are of no use if you don't have Shraddha in you. So no use, it's just an embellishment. If you don't have Shraddha, you don't have substance of a spiritual sadhak. That's why I said another quality is Vairagya. If these two qualities take the cake, you're still in you stole the show, you've got it all. But here he talks of Shraddha. So it is, his opinion is applicable only to a karma yogi. So this verse, as I said, our opinion is only to a karma yogi. Alright, 32. Ye tve tadabhyasuyantaha nanutishtanti me matam sarvajnana vimudham stan vedhinasthana chetasaha. Ye tve tadabhyasuyantaha nanutishtanti me matam sarvajnana vimudham stan vedhi nashthana chetasaha. But those who carp at my teachings and do not practice it, deluded in all knowledge and devoid of discrimination, know them to be ruined. Nashtha nachetasaha, senseless fellows, ruin. Sarvajnana vimudhan, deluded in all knowledge, because abhyasuyantaha, these fellows have no other business but to find faults with others. There is a beautiful saying, our biggest fault is to be consumed with the faults of others. All your life you are just caught up in the faults of others. That is the biggest fault you are ever committing. It is their life, let them deal with it. What have you got to do with it? Why are you making that fault and finding faults of others? Being preoccupied with faults of others. So your life is consumed by others' faults. So your whole life is consumed by that preoccupation. It's just an occupation, it's a preoccupation. It's an adjective, huh? Finished, ruined, life is ruined. So these are the class of people who even find a reason to carp at the Guru itself. Not just an ordinary gossip, even the Guru also is a subject of gossip, spiritual gossip. So this, enama solunga. So தெரியுது என்ன பண்றீங்க நீங்க odd timeல. Now we know what is going on. Uplifting, what is the question? So this verse is exactly contrary to the previous verse. Contrary. So he says, if you don't follow what qualities you need, you don't have Shraddha, but you are just caught up with the knowledge. Many people who are, in fact, majority of people who are dabbling with knowledge. I am purposely using the word dabbling. What is the word dabbling? Dabble. Dabble means? Yes, sir. It is just an intellectual curiosity. You are just entertaining yourself with it. It is an intellectual tamasha. Spiritual tamasha going on. Dabbling with it. They dabble with it. So most of the spiritual seekers in the intellectual realm are just dabblers. It is just a mere curiosity, just a satisfaction of what it is. But they don't have Shraddha. Huh? They are with the knowledge, no Shraddha. So what they do? Just dabble with it, entertain themselves with it, that's all. Mere curiosity. So they don't have the conviction, the devotion, the determination, the ability to pursue and get to the wisdom. So they are just caught up in the knowledge realm, informative realm there. They know it, but what's the use of it? As I've said, you can be well informed with others' knowledge, but you can't get wisdom with others' wisdom. You can't be wise with their wisdom. So it doesn't help. So such actions, what happens, it's a very beautiful, very critical point I am making, a very important point I am making. What is the use, what is the consequence of having information, knowledge and not converting into wisdom? Don't jump into answers. What is the consequence of having knowledge, the right knowledge? Because you are perhaps, as I have said, there is a question mark, how many of you have Shraddha? That is for you to verify. I am not sitting here judgment, yo, he is already know whether I have Shraddha or not. No, I had no point going to the class. Ema, ala anukokande, మీ పేరేంటి మా జయశ్రీ మా అలా అనుకోకండి మీరు రండి ప్లీజ్ నేను ఏదో అంటుంటాను బట్ మీరు వచ్చేయండి క్లాస్కి సరేనా యూ డోంట్ హ్యావ్ టు డూ ఎనీథింగ్ ఎక్స్ట్రాడినరీ టు కన్విన్స్ మీ ఆర్ డూ ఎనీథింగ్ ఐఎమ్ జస్ట్ సేయింగ్ if you have it you are blessed, if you don't have it it's for you to work on it. So there is a very great possibility there a certain percentage of you all have knowledge but lack Shraddha. Isn't it a possibility? I'm not pinning anyone down here. Now, what are the consequences of having information, knowledge, and no wisdom? Now, what you got to mark this statement: knowledge without wisdom is fatal, is deadly, dangerous. Half knowledge, 100% knowledge you have got. I am not even talking half, no, 100% knowledge. Why you half knowledge? No, in a different, I know you meaning a different sense. Full knowledge is wisdom, always it is understood that way. But informative wise, you know everything. If I say something, sir, it is mentioned in the Gita, it is also mentioned in Mandukya Upanishad, it is also referred in this Karika. On the knowledge you have got. The fingertips you have everything, where is what, and you know all the jigsaw puzzles, everything well placed, where is it said, who said it, his commentary, this interpretation, you know it all.
This verse, so and so, for third verse, chapter 1, third verse, second line.
No, she is not leaving because of the difference in answer. She said earlier she needs to be excused. No worries. You did mention earlier. So, for others' benefit, I am justifying why you are leaving. Otherwise, they think, oh, because difference of opinion, she walked out. It shouldn't be that way, isn't it? So, I am supporting her. So, knowledge without wisdom is, now I have lost support. I have had a very helping hand from the front row. Dangerous, fatal. Now, tell me, why is it knowledge without wisdom is deadly? అర్థమవుతుందమ్మా? ఏ పేరేంటి? అఖిల్. వాట్ ఈస్ యువర్ నేమ్? జయచంద్ర. అర్థమవుతుందా? ఫాలోయింగా? I'll not ask you what you understood, don't worry. For a moment you are terrified, you think he's going to ask me what I understood. See, always in a classroom, as a teacher, I have been cautioned to make sure that your students don't misunderstand. Because there is a grave danger in misunderstanding this knowledge than understanding. If you don't understand, please come back. But if you misunderstand, I can't undo the damage. It's an irreparable damage. So you're free to ask questions if you don't understand it, but don't go back with the wrong perception, your own misconception as to what the truth is, as a complete mockery of this knowledge. Please don't do that. అర్థం కాలేదంటే 10 సార్లు అడగండి, చెప్తాను. You can test my opika also. I don't mind, but I must confess, as I have been teaching, I have become a little bit more patient. The students of mine in the earlier stages of their association with me, they used to say, still say, you are a terror, they used to say. They used to say that I rip them apart. Yeah, they will be afraid of asking questions. So I used to be very sort of image perhaps, I was never like that, but when I took to the class, they used to be afraid of me. But still, the ardent students still following me. But then why is it, no, we are afraid of asking questions, we will tear us apart, we feel very small. I said, no, I am not challenging your ego here, but so na koddiga opika vachindamma ippudu. I don't mind clarifying someone, helping them out patiently, little bit. So I am still learning how to communicate. So forgive me if I do stumble and make mistakes here and there. Shiva? Managing. So coming back to the question I asked, what's the question I asked, sir? Vaishnavi, hearing sir, that girl is laughing too much. What's the question I asked? Where are you? I know, don't remember. Enamma, nee parenti? Nee peru marchipotanu. Pavani. What's the question I asked, ma? Both are in the same boat. Okay. Akhil, question enti ma? Consequences of having knowledge without wisdom. Now, wisdom ante em telusa? What is wisdom? No idea. Telida? Why didn't you raise your hand? I am asking, why didn't you raise your hand? తెలియదంటే అడగాలమా? Why didn't you raise your hand? ఎందుకంటే now I will continue to speak, you will be lost. Never ever miss an opportunity to learn. You come to learn kada. I appreciate your interest, but don't leave it halfway. Finish it. Adi kuda shraddha kavali. That's why I said shraddha starts with receiving knowledge completely. Don't leave it midway. If you read, I said shraddha starts with receiving knowledge, and then comes understanding. Don't leave half knowledge. 100% get everything possible, then try to understand it, then assimilate it, reflect it, digest it, live it, experience it, make it your own. The complete process. Start with complete knowledge. Now, how many of you don't understand what wisdom? So you understand what wisdom is? No idea. Ma, you have an idea what wisdom is? Yeah? Any idea? What do you think is wisdom? Because we are differentiating between knowledge and wisdom, and knowledge without wisdom is fatal. What is this wisdom then? Jai Shri Ma, Jai Shri Kada.
Knowledge with Shraddha is wisdom, that much I hear.
Perfect. Knowledge with Shraddha leads you to wisdom. But by itself, what is that wisdom?
I thought knowledge was wisdom. Knowledge only is wisdom.
Meer anukunnara? Okay, no, there is a difference. Obviously, at least in this context, there is a difference. Any idea, Sarji? What is wisdom?
The proper usage of knowledge at that particular time.
So,
Not that particular context.
Context. So, when knowledge has a utility or an applicability in one's life, in effect, it is application of knowledge in one's life. In short, wisdom is to live, knowledge is to talk. Wisdom is to walk the talk. Wisdom is to be an example for others to follow. Knowledge is knowing it, wisdom is living by it. It is not me advocating discipline to you and me being indisciplined myself, has no meaning. But if I advocate discipline, it must reflect in the life and the actions I perform, I live by. So wisdom ante when it becomes my own.
Now I understood Shraddha. What is Shraddha?
What do you understand?
By teaching the knowledge and the difference between the knowledge and wisdom, I understood Shraddha also.
Correct. So now you understand how Shraddha helps you to reach wisdom. So knowledge is information, wisdom is transformation. Knowledge is tuition, wisdom is intuition. Intuition ante there is in a layman's term, there is an inner gut feeling, there is an inner perception, there is an inner vision. If knowledge is 2D, wisdom is 3D. You have a different dimension to the same thing. It's like certain art has a 3D dimension to it. It has a different depth to it. So wisdom is transformation. So, applied knowledge, as you rightly said, any applicability at any point of time, then you have wisdom. It's like, where was it? It was you who was mentioning yesterday that we were, I don't know whether you were there when she said that. I think while we were entering the building for the talk, she was saying, look at the doctor and look at his size. While going, these were the words Jayaraman. I didn't see that chap. We were, as I said, I had a talk yesterday, a public talk, and that was they had a facility for treating patients, medical clinic type, and she saw it. We came out of the lift and she saw a doctor, and then she just said, look at his size for a doctor. He is unable to move also.
He couldn't get out of the car.
He couldn't get out of the car, but not bucket seat also. Enna sir? Bucket.
Bucket seat is
Correct, correct? No, that is between me and her, so I can't reveal that. She's you into it. No, in fact, she doesn't like sitting in a car which has a bucket seat design. So you get almost you're tucked into the seat and you want to come out of the car. Very difficult. So and she drives one which is not a bucket seat, and she keeps praising the car she's driving.
Bench seats.
Bench platform railway platform bench மாதிரி தான் அவரோட கார்ல you sit in the car அந்த மாதிரி தான் இருக்கு அது plank மாதிரி like a plank it is उनका गाड़ी में बैठेंगे ना just a plank. New car she got, and then yesterday I was telling the company Shiva should pay her. She is promoting her car, the company and the make, without any royalty. She must be brand ambassador for that. I said I'll write a letter to the company.
Probably the one they stopped making also.
No sir, last few months ago she bought that car. No, I don't want to become ambassador for that because it's being recorded also, so I will not do that. You ask her afterwards what is she brand ambassador for. So I was referring to the doctor who you go every time to him, he would advocate leading a healthy lifestyle. And here is a chap who can't get out of his car, who is struggling to walk a flight of stairs. A classic example of knowledge overflowing, zero wisdom. You don't mind scribbling down whatever doctor says because your life depends on that. Take this many dosages, call me exactly after 1 week, come back with this test in 2 weeks time, 1 month again you come back, 3 months come back, 6 months come back. Oh yes doctor, please can you repeat again what it is? I must take this test, this medicine how many times a day? 2 times a day. For how many days? 1 week. This tablet for 2 weeks, this one, and come back after this test. Yes, certainly. Wisdom is flowing, knowledge is flowing, but zero wisdom in his life. It's very important, isn't it? Doctor says come back. Other day someone went through a minor surgery and doctor particularly told us the next 3 days make sure you do this test and message WhatsApp me the report, and don't forget that. 2 times he said that to us. Surgery everything went well, chapter closed, go back home, forget it. No. He said make sure you do the same test the next 3 days, every day send the report diligently to me. Sir, you will know, sorry, I'm not having a go at doctors here. It is valuable, it's important because he knows the importance of the post surgery, that recovery process is very, very important. So we value what they say, but that doesn't mean they are able to make it their own in every aspect of their lives. So there is a difference between information and wisdom, and that perhaps is alright. You still pay a price in the medical field with reference to your own health, you are paying a price, but in the spiritual field, what is the challenge, what is the danger in only having this knowledge but not translating it to wisdom? What are the things? What happens when you only have knowledge and no wisdom? Perfect, ma, very good. You start unsettling the minds of ignorant people or minds of others. How? By shouting at them, by lecturing them, ella? Judging them. By judging them, how would you unsettle them? By pounding, not just sharing. Sharing, nothing will happen. Pounding content tells her?
She used the word shower, is it?
Sharing.
Okay, showering.
Showering. Pounding, showering, okay, but sharing, nothing will happen. Showering. Hammering. Yeah. So, yeah, very true. When knowledge, we just learned a few verses earlier, that's where she is referring to. A wise man doesn't unsettle the minds of the ignorant, he said. Don't unsettle people. And that usually happens when it doesn't become wisdom. When it's information, you go about unsettling others. Wise people don't unsettle. They let them be what they are. thanks to the next verse. I don't think we'll have time, but let me get through this at least. So what happens is, when you have knowledge and no wisdom, first thing is you develop an arrogance. Hanji.
Journey towards Shraddha. Shall we say it starts with Jignasa?
It starts with it, yes, but it shouldn't end there.
It shouldn't end.
It shouldn't end. Like, you want to know what it is. It's a curiosity. It could be a curiosity to start with, but thereafter it should be a fervent desire. It should be a very keen desire for own self-help or self-transformation. I want to become a better person. It's just not walk in and find out, oh, how is this fellow's interpretation of the Gita? That also is curiosity. I want to know, how did he interpret this concept? So you are going to gauge how much the teacher knows. That also is curiosity. I have heard from that person, but how much this fellow knows, let me see how much he tells, and you are all the time evaluating a speaker.
But is that jignasa? Jignasa is something deeper, no? Deep desire to know and then own it. Is that not jignasa?
Say, in
very powerful word, not just curiosity.
I would agree with you, but how would you then differentiate between a mere intellectual curiosity vis-a-vis Shraddha?
Jignasa, the word jignasa can't be used there. Jignasa is too deep to be used in the
Colloquial, loose way.
It's not curiosity, I think. Curiosity must have some other word. In Sanskrit, in Hindi, and everything, but not jignasa.
Yes, also Krishna, but the word is, how many types of people are there? Jignasa is curiosity towards spirituality.
It's generally about curiosity about know things.
To know things. See,
Something very,
It-
very superficial, very much on
No, but
the
Jignasa means curiosity only. Not correct word to.
You see, as sir was saying, everything cannot be translated in English word.
Yeah.
So Jignasa, okay, in modern terms we call it curiosity, but it has something else.
now again it is subject to interpretation. Fair to what you are saying, I agree with you. But to differentiate the Shraddha, I had to put it as a curiosity, as something which dies away once it's satisfied. See, as a spiritual journey is not an intellectual curiosity. Spiritual journey starts when the curiosity ends. Real spiritual journey starts when your curiosity ends. I have never ever said this phrase in my entire life. நான் எப்போ சொல்லவே இல்லை, எங்கேருந்து வந்து தெரியல அது. Spirituality starts when the curiosity ends. அப்போ that's when your Shraddha comes in. Isn't it? So in that sense I put it on lighter note, if you compare that way. Because Shraddha, it doesn't end with knowing, it starts with knowing. My job starts now. Because I need to go reflect on it, I need to understand it, I need to dedicate myself to making it my own. It doesn't end there, it just starts there. So you're right, G. So curiosity, it should not end with it. It no doubt brings you to it, but if you are a real seeker, it will carry on. It starts you, gets you onto the journey.
So for a scientist, jigyasa leads to inventions.
Again, with Shraddha.
Yeah.
If a person with Shraddha, he will take it off.
Take it to a logical
Logical
end. When your curiosity starts, it has to end somewhere. And what is tapana?
Tapana, is it a sort of a restlessness of knowing something, wanting to know? An eagerness? Tapana undi tanaki ante, tanaki నేర్చుకోవాలని what do you, ఆరాధన, correct? Aratham, okay. Aratham means you are very eager, you are very wanting to learn, kada?
Tapatraya.
Tapatrayam. Is it the right word? Tapatrayam also?
Tapana is tapatraya.
But see, we are more talking about sustaining it, not just bursts of inspiration. It shouldn't be bursts of inspiration. that which sails through. Give me a minute or two. I just want to mention it. We'll come back again. Knowledge without wisdom, the first expression of knowing something is arrogance. I know. That is what you see when a child starts growing up, when he has already heard the advice from the parents or know something, the child says back, "Mummy, I know it already. Why are you telling me?" That is arrogance. There is no humility. So first expression of knowing is arrogance. What happens when you know and you don't have wisdom is you believe to have attained a false sense of perfection. You believe you already attained it because you know it, you talk about it, you know I'm already reached there. You assume a state where you are already not. That's what happens when you have knowledge and no wisdom. Danger in having knowledge, you start justifying your own actions. Now what's the Telugu word for justifying? Samadhinchukodu. So knowledge unte you start twisting the knowledge just to support and suit your own imperfections. No, I did not get up because but the neighbor was making noise. I couldn't sleep, therefore I didn't get up. Huh? Some reason you will give. Some logic you will give. You find excuses to support your imperfections and your tamas, your shortcomings. That is justification. It's like, why are you drinking? Because all my friends are drinking, all my batchmates are drinking, and you know drinking also is good for your which part of the body, sir? I know a few organs will come out. That's why I left it blank there. I left it purposely blank.
Only limited is good for heart.
Okay. Then anything than that? Any other organ there?
That's how it starts.
Getting high.
Then it has different benefits. Why do people get high? Because they have reasons to get high. But you justify because everybody is having it, I am having it. That's no reason why you should have it. As you say, oh, it is good for heart, it's good for liver, it's good for that, it's good. A little bit of beer, a little bit of whiskey is good. And you start using bits and pieces of knowledge just to support your weakness for alcohol. So you are finding arguments just to support your addictions. That is justification. But if you use arguments to counterattack your own imperfections, that's what wisdom is meant for. It challenges your growth. Justifying stunts your growth. It stagnates. You just get held there by your own arguments. And when you have knowledge and no wisdom, you feel a sense of guilty, heavy guilt, because you know you are not supposed to do it and yet you can't not do it. पता है वो गलत है मैं कर रहा हूँ. Because you know it. If you did not know, understandable, ignorance is bliss. So the mistake people do is to gain knowledge. If you did not know, no problem at all, isn't it? Ignorance is, I did not know. Your ignorance protects you. But the fact that you have learnt it, you have to live by it. Now the problem is, since they don't have Shraddha, they know it and they are not living by it, there comes guilt. The knowledge brings about a heavy guilt because you are not able to live by what you talk, what you know. So it is highly better off to be in ignorance. It's better to be in ignorance. I know a person, I asked him how often you do medical tests, he said I never. Because the moment you do medical tests, unnecessarily things will start crop up and I need to start worrying about it. Mentally worry about it and then I need to go and do medical tests and that and this and unless something, let me handle it when it happens. And he's so convinced with it. You know what I did? Didn't do anything. I didn't say anything because no point sitting and unsettling him. I left him comfortable in his ignorance.
He goes straight to ICU.
I don't wish him that as well. I wish him a long and healthy life. Why should I wish him ICU? But it is never ever recommended to be comfortable in ignorance. Never recommended. However, unacceptable it is to know the truth, but it's better to know the truth. The truth is there's something wrong with me. Better to know it than living in the comfort of not knowing what it is.
Living illusion.
Illusion. It's a wrong thing. And wherever you have knowledge or no wisdom, it becomes a burden. It becomes a heavy burden. It's like, I give an often example, it's like a gold on a mule's back. If you have to load a sack of gold bars on a mule's back, it is dead weight for a mule. If it is smart enough, it will sell one bar and rest of his life chauffeur driven in a Mercedes. But it doesn't have the brains to make use of the knowledge. That's the use of, that's akin to it, is a man with knowledge is like carrying all the burden but not smart enough to transform it, use it and elevate himself and live by that values or knowing.
It's like you have all the books at home and do not read.
All the books.
Not just having books, having read them all.
That's a tragedy of all. That's what I'm saying, a tragedy of all this. So just give a deeper thought to these ideas. So if you have started the journey, pursue it, keep to it so that you get to the end of it. Don't leave it unattended midway. There's a danger. That's the reason you got to be very, very watchful. So people don't understand the danger in knowing itself. Don't understand. Nobody understands. With these reasons, you will be watchful. All right. We'll, if need be, we can revisit again. Okay. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.